Morning, Ian. Hey, Nick. Yeah, never gave up. I don't know, it's somebody's philosophy, isn't it? I can't remember. Right. So yeah, take 2 on this attempt. See how far we get. I've set everything up, so literally we are just going to go and get straight away. Turn the volume down. Thank you. Do any ACC? I'm not going to brief. I'm not going to discuss much. No, nobody is online apart from Eurocontrol, but it looks good. That kind of makes it a little bit easier. It means I don't have to worry about ATC or clearances or anything else. Right, so I will do a couple of things just to make sure we're all done, checklists, etc. But apart from that, we are literally going to go. I mean, those of you that saw a brief yesterday, it's basically the same. Let's double check these as well before I go anything. Yeah, make sure you're all. That's done. Good. Load sheets. I've done weight and balance. I've done literally everything already. So again, I can just run through it very quickly. Load sheet, accept all these. I don't really care too much about these. It's going to be close enough. Accept. Good. Done. Right, you're on that. Right, so just a quick run through again. So doing exactly the same as what we were supposed to do yesterday. Birmingham 2 splits. Kestrel 6543. That's all in. 37,000 feet. Maybe 35 initially. Let's go 35 initially. That's all in. Flight plans in. Cowley to Yankee departure again. That's done. Radnav's all done. Birmingham for this engine out stuff. That's done. Perf's all done. Flaps 1. That's Bravo intersection, but probably say full length. Fuel again, a little bit of a discrepancy. It thinks our burn is 7.5 tons, which it isn't. It's nowhere near that on the OFP. So yeah, a bit of a discrepancy there. But we've taken basically more or less 9 tons. So we'll see how we do on that. Secondary is standard company Airbus emergencies in that as well. So that's all done. The aircraft's all set up. 6,000 is the stop altitude. QNH is all good. Everything else is good. Everything is ready. So in that respect, I think we should start looking to go. Yeah, just back again, Paul, trying to. So what I've done after yesterday, because I spoke to Gav about it and we looked at it, and the rolling cache was set to 0, which obviously wasn't a very good thing for whatever reason. So we've upped that to 50. But then yesterday I tried to up it to 100 yesterday, and then it took about 4 hours to do that. And then when I looked at it before I went to bed, or a few hours before I went to bed, it was just sort of stuck at 100% and didn't do anything. So I forced the application to close, and basically when I went back into the flight sim, it was still stuck at 0. So that was 4 hours of complete wasted time. So I've done it again. I've put the put the rolling cache into a different folder, which I've called a very colourful name, and hopefully having a rolling cache of 50 gigs may help a little bit. Quick view of the weather out of here. It's a little bit. It's not great. It's still Cat 1, so we're good enough to get back in. But just have a quick look at that, just so people are aware. So 1505, so very light headwind down the runway. 4.5, 4,900 meters. Bit of mist, bit of broken cloud, but that's still Cat 1, so good enough to get back in if we need to. So on that respect, we'll have a quick look at the checklist. The cockpit preparation, aircraft acceptance all been completed. Fuel quantity is 8.9, just about, and it's balanced. The seatbelts are on, not there. ADRSs, they should all be in nav. They are. That's good. And the RF is QNH 1011. So cockpit preparation checks complete. Let's get this cache rolling. Yeah, so I mean, I didn't even get as far as the end of this taxiway yesterday, so if I can make it to the end of the runway, I suppose that's a slight improvement, isn't it? But yeah, let's see how far we get. I mean, if I get airborne, I suppose it's a bloody victory, isn't it, in some respects? But anyway, so that's done. So before starts, the parking brake is set. Takeoff data is all confirmed. Windows are closed. PDs are, yeah, their flight modes, good enough. And doors are closed and armed. And the beacon is, I can see you, there we go. Beacon is on. Right. Let's double check, make sure everything still works. It should do. I haven't done anything else yet. That's good, that's good, that's good, good. Right. So parking brake, you can come off. And ground services. Last minute paranoid check on ATC. No, goods. I don't think there's anybody else around here, to be honest. Not even bother putting a unicorn in just yet. Right, anyway, let's start these engines. What's this engine mode selector? Standing one. Happen on file approach port. I sympathise, mate. Well, at least you got airborne. I mean, I'm struggling to even do that at the minute. Hey, Christian. Again, I'm not going to go outside just in case the sim hiccups. It's so much easier pushing back when somebody actually does it for you. That's not a bad job. That would do. I like how he just disconnects and just disappears and you just end up rolling backwards. Anyway, parking brake's back on, starting to... Let's get out of windowed mode. Hey Lemon. Yeah, I'm the same with the camera movements. I think sort of panning all around all over the place, you know, and it's not particularly helping. But I think, you know, if that's going to cause a crash to desktop, it's not a very good sign if you can't even look around. You know, God forbid you're in like VR or anything else. Right. Anyway, so that's started. That's done. That can go back to normal. Spoilers are arms, flaps are 1. Trim is about 30%, I think. I did look at it a bit earlier. Was it 30.6? About there, that'll do. Status is normal. I should have done these first, shouldn't I? Whatever, don't matter. Not too worried about that. Right, let's do a quick flight controls just while we're here. So that's full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, and the rudder, full left rudder, full right rudder, neutral. Good, that's done. That's done. I'll do all this, just get this done and out the way. That's done. That's done. That's on. That's done. Just saves me faffing around during the taxiway. That's all done. Right, good, let's taxi out. Burnway traffic, Kestrel 6543, taxi to runway 15 via Delta and Alpha. Get this on. So I know where I'm going, so down here, Delta and up Alpha, Alpha 1. Right, let's see if we can get further than the end of the taxiway this time. Yeah, the brakes are checked. Alright, do a quick PEDS review. The performance, there's no change to MC, I don't really check it too much, but all the speeds are basically valid for Bravo figures, but we'll probably go full length for runway 15. Engine out was not it was standard, it's 1900 feet left turn back to the Birmingham NDB, and then we hold there and then back in for runway 15 as well. Departure we got Cowley to Yankee, that's in the box, that's what we've been cleared for. We're stopping at 6,000 feet. Alright, you're going to get out of the way. So taxi checklists are after start, sorry, should have done those. Anti-ice is done, ECAM status is checked, pitch trim is 30.6% and rod trim is neutral. Taxis, flight controls are checked, flap settings, config 1. FMA, we got climb nav blue 1FT2. Just going to go through you guys. Radar predictor wind shear is on. ECAM memo is takeoff no blues, and the EFBs are stowed and disconnected. Taxi checks complete. I feel like my side stick is slightly in the wrong place. There we go, maybe a bit better. Alright, there's nobody coming from the left, nobody's coming from the right. Is that a forklift? I think you're lost, mate. Well, that's a victory over yesterday. We got a little bit further than yesterday. After some numpty decided to push back into me. Not that I think that caused the crash. I did double check the crash detection, that was disabled. So I don't think that was a cause for it. Funny enough, the engine wear is enabled though, so whether hitting an engine would have made any difference, I don't know, possibly. But there we go. Alright, credits started, we've had 3 minutes. Don't jinx it, I know. Do you know, I say these things at work all the time, and all the crew say to me, it's like, oh, don't jinx it. And I'm like, yeah, but I like saying these things because, you know, if you don't say these things, they probably will happen. If you do say these things, they probably won't happen. That's sort of my logic. You know, I kind of sort of use reverse jinxing, where I'm like, no, I'm going to say everything that goes wrong, because then the chances are it won't. And then if something does go wrong, it's not quite as bad as what you said in the first place. Stupid logic, I know, but there we go, seems to work. So that down to the end of here, and then we'll take off. Well, I like the little yellow X on the road, as if you're going to taxi down there. I suppose some numpty may have tried, but... Right, I had to get a new pen as well, since I chucked mine at the door yesterday, so that's a little bit broken. I quite like the fact all the mounds are modelled, because these are there in real life. So you've got some large mounds, which I guess is sort of noise protection and various other things. But I think it's the Bill's Gatwick scenery. Is it? I don't know, I haven't checked actually, I need to look. But there's the same sort of mounds at the end of 08 Right in Gatwick. But in the scenery it doesn't seem to do it, but this scenery seems to have the mounds that's there in Birmingham. So I quite like that touch, that's quite nice. Reverse Uno logic, that's exactly it, yeah. Alright, temperature's good, so don't need anti-ice. Yeah, it is, it's midday exactly, it's possibly 230 at midday. I mean, at this sort of rate, I'm probably going to get there before that. 2.5 hours, I may do. I may get down there, so... Yeah, maybe 2-3. We can look at both. Right, so that's Bravo, so that's the figures we got. We're just going to go full length. So we'll just double check. Is it VAT spy, VAT scope? Just make sure nobody's on approach without going off the runway. That's one thing about rudder pedals, is that you can still steer on the ground. Good, right, yeah, it doesn't look like there's anybody else. Bermuda traffic Kestrel 6543 is lining up into departing runway 15 County 2 Yankee departure. Right, let's just slow right down. Let's get your lights on. This can come off. TCAS can go on. And on up checklist, cabin is secure for takeoff. Takeoff runway is runway 15 full length. Takeoff clearance is basically confirmed because it's me doing it. TCAS is TARA and packs 1 and 2 are off. Let's line up checklist complete. Right, again, got a little bit further than yesterday's, that's promising. Alright, come on, let's not take all day doing this. Just double check, I'm actually on Unicom. Yeah, I'm on Unicom. It's very quiet. Right, I can take it on the roll. Start you, and take off. Landflex 63 SRS runway. That's 100 knots. V1 rotates. Positive climb, gear up. Right, board of that, AP1. Thrust, climb, hello buddy, alright. It's my dog. That one. So we're holding S speed effectively on departure because the speed constraint there of 210 knots. Hello mate. Come on, get out of the clouds. Let's go a little bit higher up. Let's go like 20, 30,000, that'll do. Open climb. So standard set cross checks. 300 is blue. So avoiding the weather, which is good. So a little bit of weather just on the left. Stuff over there in the distance, but it looks like it should be a quite clear path. Taking off. Right, I don't think ATC would want to keep us at speed for much longer. Delete that. Accelerate away. There you go, 250. So for airspeed flat 0, speed's check flat 0. Hey Dark, I got further than yesterday. This is looking promising. Right, don't need the lights anymore, they can go. Crew, I might keep in a little bit. Where's that track? So yeah, I should be going through there, that's fine. So it's technically it's an odd flight levels. It's a 3-1, that'll do, 310 blue. Why aren't you on managed speeds? Did you mean for the departure, Lemon? Because there was a speed constraint, so if we look at the departure, you can see there's a maximum speed of 210 knots there, but green dots was 215, so green dots, the clean speed was higher than the maximum speed constraints. You've got to go basically to the you don't have to, you can either go S speed and just do it in flaps 1, or you could like hold 210 knots, 215 knots. You could do it and just let the flaps automatically retract, which was another way of doing it, to be fair, but I just held S speed and then I just basically cleared the speed constraints out, because at 5,000 feet ATC probably aren't going to care too much, so that's what I did. Hey Gabriel, I'm very good considering I've actually got airborne, so yeah, it's a little bit better than yesterday, so a bit more promising. The clouds aren't looking too bad actually, they're looking pretty good. Temperature's 13, so anti-ice will be going on in a second. I think we're okay for the girls in the back, so release the crew. Memo to myself, never put in a periphery when on the world map the symbol crash. What you'll have to explain that to me, Christian. I don't really know what you mean. What do you mean periphery? How long is the flight? Hopefully, well, yeah. Hopefully, what do we got? So flight time's 2 hours 17 minutes. Blocks 2:14, so that's pretty good. So 2 hours and 17 minutes from about now, 2:12, I suppose. So 2:12, 11. What's that? 11:17. More or less, so yeah, it must have been took off exactly at 0900, which was what the schedule was, I think. Yeah, 0900. So I just set the aircraft up before I started the stream. I just set it all up, put everything in the box, got everything ready because, effectively, I wasn't going to sit there for an hour briefing like I did yesterday, only for it to, crash again. So I just got going. Right, I've just deleted that 210 speed knots, sorry not 210, 250 knots speeds restriction at Cowley down here, because we're well above flight level 100 now, and basically that speed constraint just wouldn't apply at this sort of height, so we're accelerating quite nicely away. Cost index, I'm leaving at 18 because this is Thomas Cook, so I don't think Thomas Cook reduced the cost index in the climb, so I'm just leaving that as it is. We're flying, we are, Mark, I know, I mean, what a bloody privilege to actually get an aircraft airborne, isn't it? I mean, wonders will never cease. But yeah, maybe it's the rolling cash, maybe that's helped, because I increased that to 50. Well, I tried to do it, I don't know if you saw on the Discord if you're on it. I tried to increase that to 100, and then it just basically quit. So, on suggestion of, was it Crumpet, Christian, I can't remember, somebody said, oh, it might be Dan, rename the rolling cache file, so I renamed it a nice colourful name to say, right, go in there you bastard, and just lowered it to 50 gigs, and then that seemed to work okay. So that took about 45 minutes to do that, which wasn't too bad actually. It was a little bit better than I thought, and did that, checked it this morning, it was still at 50, so the sim's obviously behaved and it's kept it at 50, and tweaked the graphics settings the other day as well, just sort of changed them a little bit based on a few sort of suggestions. That seems to have not made an awful lot of difference, but it may have helped a little bit. And touch wood, seeing as my desk is wood, I suppose it was probably MDF and it's chipboard and it was cheap shit, but it seems to be behaving. Now there's still another 2 hours to go yet, so there's plenty of times for it to go wrong, but anyway, it's through the 10s, that's all done, that's done, they're off. Secondary don't need you anymore. If I press the right button, secondary, copied. Rad navs, they can be cleared. It's done. 35,000 feet's the optimum, so that'd be pretty good. Probably go up to go 37. Recommended max is increasing a bit, so that's good. everything else is looking pretty good. In terms of airports, got Gatwick going right over the top of Heathrow. I think I've got Gatwick scenery in. I don't have the Heathrow scenery in. I'm not really going to venture outside just yet until we maybe get to the top of cruise. But yeah, I've got a couple of sceneries en route. Gatwick, Geneva, I don't even know if we're going near Geneva. Geneva, Vienna maybe, Split obviously. Zadar, I think is the other one as well, which is obviously the primary alternate. So I've got a couple of sceneries in, not too many, but just a couple of en routes. If anything was to go wrong, at least we could probably look at somewhere. What's that? Yeah, a bit of cloud anti-ice. Come on. I must admit the clouds are actually looking quite nice now. I don't know what's happened, but have I got the clouds? I might have the clouds on Ultra, I think. On higher Ultra, but it's the one aspect of the game which I want to look reasonably good. And the reason I want it to look reasonably good is because I want to be able to avoid or see enough definition so that I'm not going to fly through that. It looks a bit crap. So it's the one bit of eye candy, I suppose, that I do want just a little bit higher detail. I don't care too much about some of the textures, and you know, like you can see the rudder pedals are just basically, there's no texture there at all. There is texture normally, but you know, some of the interior textures aren't quite there. But I mean, to be honest, I don't spend 2.5 hours staring at rudder pedals, so I don't really care too much about those. Got delayed with the Teams meeting. I've got sympathy, Mark, because my missus is in a training seminar all day today, pretty much, and without going into too much details of what she does, but she doesn't need to be doing training seminars. And yeah, she's I think rather bored and got plenty of other work that she needs to be getting on with. But yeah, I did say, haven't you brought your gym stuff with you today? Because you can go to the gym in the workplace, because her work's got all that. And she's like, no, I've got this training meeting. I was like, oh yeah, whoops, sorry, forgot about that. Enjoy. So yes, I'm being a bit more smug while I can sit here. Well, I'm being smug now because I can actually bloody, this thing's working. I was in a bit of a foul mood yesterday, for those of you that are on the stream earlier in the day, which I did subsequently delete because it wasn't really safe for consumption of anybody really. So yeah, that was a frustrating morning. Right, I think once we're right through these, we can probably get rid of the belts. And when I sit above the MSA as well, so I can go back to standard. Just flying in the tops. A little bit more definition of the clouds would be nice, but you know, this is reasonably realistic. You know, this isn't too far off. You do get clouds like this where they're just sort of fluffy stuff and you just fly through the tops of them, and it's just like flying through cotton wool, really. Hey Dan. Ooh, we have my sympathies, Lemon. That sounds painful. Still not out these clouds yet, are we? They're sort of rising as we're climbing. Bit of turbulence penetration speed, see if we can get up above it. 270, I think, 320 is, I can never remember. I think it's 250, 270, I can't quite remember now. Oh, that made me panic. I hate it when it just lags like that. Alright, I think it's smooth enough. We can let them go. There we go, belts are released. Temperature is, there we go, minus 41, so we're outside the temperature. So anti-ice can come off as well. Above all that fluffy stuff, so we can go back and manage speed. Probably go managed climb as well now. There we go, managed climb. So where's the controllers? Right, it's all around Germany. Nothing. I might be in Germany airspace a little bit. Yeah, possibly. Because I sort of go through Brussels. What do I do? Where's the routes? Yeah, Belgium, just north of Strasbourg. So yeah, it might be as well if they stay online. So maybe part of... Who's that? Who's a controller? Langen Radar. CPDLC. Oh, they got CPDLC. I don't know if my Hoppy code's still in. I looked at the Phoenix app and the Hoppy code was blank, so I don't actually know if the CPDLC will work. But oh, you can try it. If it works, it works. Right? Should we venture and have a look forward or a different view? That's working. That's a good sign. Got Gatwick off the right. Should we have a look on the right hand side, see if that works? That's the left, your donut. There we go, that's the right. So where are we? Got the M25 going over the Londons, the M25 be going around here. North Downs, that looks like the M23 junction down there, going down to Gatwick. Gatwick looks like it's covered in cloud. Typical Gatwick. Down here be Twickenham somewhere. Croydon. I don't know London very well, but yeah. Leatherhead, I think that's Leatherhead. I think that's the A3. That's probably going down to Guildford, if I remember. Glad you got up and got airborne. Yeah, Dan, it seems to be... I don't know, do you just think it was this cache, rolling cache, that was causing the issue? Because I had 0 rolling cache. 31, I didn't want to level off at 31, did I? Oh, come on. Oh, have you crashed? No. Oh, why does it do these things? Makes you panic. Alright, that's it. Pay attention to FMAs. So yeah, thrust climb 350 blue. Yeah, I mean, those of you that are more techie will probably know more than I do, but, you know, maybe, I mean, Gav was saying it, you know, when he saw the rolling cache was 0, he was just like, ooh, that's not good. You know, I think the words he used were basically every time you're flying, you're trying to download every single thing around you. I don't know, he explained it better than I can. But he said, yeah, having 0 rolling cache is probably not a very good thing to do. Yeah, my heart skipped a beat as well. So yeah, we seem to have changed that, and it's the only really thing I've done. You know, it's the only sort of, I suppose I defragged the disk, which took a few hours, but you know, that may have helped a little bit. But yeah, when I did put the rolling cache in, I have noticed it sort of loads up a little bit quicker. So maybe it's helped. Maybe that's solved the problem. Maybe that's just something I need to check a bit more regularly. Where you know, I need to make sure that the rolling cache is still there. Anyway, guards on 2. It's done. Put you on. Not that anybody uses it, because you're not allowed to use it on VATSIM obviously, but that's all done, that's done. Don't think I've forgotten anything. Rolling cache could be an issue since trying to write data to the hard drive when you're flying, and you have, yeah. I mean, you know it a lot more than I do, but that's essentially, I think, what Gav was saying was, I think the hard disk, it can't keep up. Basically, what you were saying, because it's a mechanical hard disk rather than an SSD. It just physically doesn't have the speed or the capability to keep up with the demand of the data it's downloading or using. I can't quite remember what he was saying, but yeah, you will certainly know. Alright, there's 1,000 to go, and yeah, maybe that's not ideal, but you know, I mean, I can cope with this. You know, this is fine. If I can do this every time, then yes, an SSD, whatever it is, SSD. Maybe one of those can be on the Christmas card list, or Christmas list even, or maybe I'll just have to buy one without the missus even noticing, and yeah, just see how it goes that way. But yeah, maybe it's something to do in the future. But I mean, you know, if it stays like this, then I'm happy. You know, if I'm happy with this performance. Right, this is Kent, somewhere down in Kent. I think you got head corn down here somewhere. I don't know where, but head corn's another aerodrome where stupid people jump out of perfectly airworthy aircraft. You sometimes see them, you know, if you go across here. That might be head corn there. You occasionally see, if you depart out of Gatwick, if you're low level enough, you'll see a little dot just in front of you, and it'll be like a little I don't know, caravan, Cessna caravan thing, and then you just see these little dots just jump out of these aircraft, and you just think, oh, there's stupid people. There we go. SSDs, but yeah, it's not so much the cost, to be honest. I mean, I can probably afford 100 quid or whatever if that's what it is. That's what it is. It's more the effort, I think. You know, it's then you've got to do a Windows reinstall and a Microsoft Flight Simulator reinstall, and then a Phoenix reinstall, and then everything else. I mean, I don't have a lot on it, to be fair, so it's not an awful lot to redo. There we go, we got out cruise. It's just, oh, what am I doing? I'm pressing the wrong one. No, go on, you. That one, so on, below. Yeah, it's more just the sort of faff of doing it, because I don't really know what I'm doing, so it's not like, oh, I can just do reinstall Windows and Flight Simulator. It's easy, because I don't actually really know what I'm doing. Right, all quantities a bit less in the left, that's fine. Bleed's looking good, pressurization's looking good, electricals are all looking good, hydraulics still working, fuel, so actually is about 1,600 kilograms to the top of climb, that's not too bad. Then balance, so that's 16 and 7.1. So 8.889 more or less. That's what we're left with. There's no leaks. APU's off like it should be. Air conditioning's good. Doors are good. Wheels are good. Flight controls. Again, no abnormal indications on the flight controls. Good. So that's done. Let's have a quick look at a fuel check. So do some general housekeeping. Should be, where is it? There you go. So about 22 minutes in, 6.1. We took an extra 400 plus a contingency, so 3 and 4, 7. So about 700 kilograms extra on top of that. So about 6.8, which is, yeah, a couple of hundred kilograms more. So we've probably not used quite as much for the taxi, maybe 100 kilograms less. That's looking pretty good. And 22 minutes, so yeah, pretty much spot on. So that's looking nice. And so that, but it's a great feeling once you get over the edge. True. Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah, that's a good point, Crumpet. I suppose it would be a lot quicker, wouldn't it? Yeah, again, I think it's just the fact that I don't really have a clue what I'm doing. It's that sort of, you know. And the other thing I was thinking, because like Gav was saying, if I got another hard disk, or an SSD, I've got two hard disks. I've got two drives. I've got a C drive and a D drive, so both 1 terabyte. And everything's on the C drive at the minute. So there's only about 400 gigs left on that, I think. And the other one says, you know, 900, whatever it is. So that's, you know, pretty much empty. So I could replace the empty one with an SSD. And I said, well, do I need to download all the scenery and you know, do I need to put that on like a flash drive or something? He said, no, you just copy it over. So you reinstall Windows on the new SSD and everything on there. And then when you open it up, you just access the old hard drive and you just copy it across. I was like, okay, that sort of makes sense. But if you've got Windows and everything on the new SSD, will it still recognise what's on the old hard drive? Because it won't have Windows or anything on there anymore. So will it still have folders with like the sceneries and everything else? I think, isn't it? Don't you need to get that off the hard drive first, and then you can re-download it on the new SSD, because you won't be able to read the old hard drive when you've reinstalled everything on the new SSD, because it won't recognise everything on the old hard drive because you've uninstalled things. So I was really confused, and I thought, okay. But anyway, I don't know. Again, talking to a Muppet here, which doesn't really know what he's doing. Right, should we have a look outside and see if this actually survives? 3, 2, 1, don't crash. Oh, there we go. Ah, look at that. Lovely old school Thomas Cook livery. Isn't she a beauty? I felt so sorry for these guys when they went bust. Having seen redundancy myself. Not a nice thing. So yeah, very, very sad for the Thomas Cook boys and girls. It's a great shame, but there we go. That's the UK government for you and everything else. I won't open that can of worms. Transforming from the H is easy. Okay, you can read the old drive. Okay, oh right, it will. Fine. So I mean you've alleviated my fears in that respect, because I'm just, again, I wasn't too sure. So I have both SSD and games. Right. So yeah, that sounds good, Lemon. So I mean, I can see myself. This would maybe be the next evolution of the gaming, I suppose, for me. Would be to maybe upgrade to this sort of thing, and hopefully just make it. I guess it makes it more stable, doesn't it? Because it doesn't have the time delay. I mean, we're probably talking, you know, thousands of a second, but you know, that time delay isn't there, that load isn't there on the hard drive, and probably just makes the whole thing a little bit more stable. So yeah, maybe that's the next evolution, maybe that's the next step. I've done the RAM, maybe the next step would be doing an SSD, because that's a bit more affordable. I'd love to get a new GPU, just to make things look a little bit nicer, but I mean, to be fair, like I said, actually, you know, the visuals I've got now aren't too bad at all. I think as long as the scenery's looking good and it's not blurry, and the clouds look pretty good. I mean, the ground textures, I mean, from what I can see up here is you know, when I look out the window, you know, that's effectively what I see in real life. That there isn't a lot of difference there. So this doesn't really need to be any better. You know, you know, I can't see. I mean, that's, you know, 40, 50 miles away possibly. My eyesight's not good enough to see anything that far away. So neither does the sim need to be that good to make it look any better either. So yeah, the visuals on the ground, you know, I'm perfectly happy with that from high up, because that's certainly no different. Having a few boats in the sea would be a bit nicer, but there we go. Right, should we dare venture put the cabin on? But yeah, maybe another GPU one. What CPU? You'll be able to answer this dark. I think I've got, hang on, put specs in. I think Nightbot should work. Specs. There we go. So whatever that means. Paul, no idea. What was I going to do? Panel states. No. Sim. One of these. Plug you back in before I forget. Airframe. Cabin. Cabin visibility. That's what we want. Right, whereabouts are we going? Let's get some decent weathers. So we're going over the top of Belgium, Frankfurt, Strasbourg, Zurich, probably getting pretty close to. Matsu weathers. The other thing as well is I did notice, because I sort of generally know my way around a Mac 2 and the FMG GC, excuse me, is I know what buttons to press. I almost know what's going to be on the next menu. So before the menus come up, I know where to press. So that's the other thing, is I'm pressing buttons before even anything's there. which probably isn't helping because I'm probably asking demand on the hard drive to do things before it's actually displayed the information, so that's probably not helping. No ADC, that's because I left on time. Either. Yeah, come on. Receive messages. There we go, we're there. So, Cavacay in Brussels, good. And this is the other thing, like the minute this time of year, obviously it's Cavacay, so the weather's really, really good, but it'd be really nice to fly in the winter when we've got some more sort of winter ops type weather, you know, with snow and low vis and clouds, but obviously that's going to put a higher demand on the hard drive as well. So, free out on boats. Yeah, I know there's some in Orbex as well. But I mean, yes, there is a free add-on link, but I mean, it's just something else to add, isn't it? I mean, how often do I fly over the North Sea or the Channel and everything and go, oh, there's a nice boat? I mean, you know, I spend 2 seconds of my day doing that, and then I sort of carry on. So to add something just to do that may seem a little bit unnecessary, but I suppose it could add a little bit. I mean, the North Sea around here as well, I don't know if anybody's flown over the North Sea or noticed, but there are thousands of boats. You've got wind farms all off the UK coast, and then you've got dozens of tankers and container things, and like, honestly, I mean, you could almost walk from bloody, you know, the Kent coast to Amsterdam just for the amount of boats that are there. Oh, it's just so much. And when you fly on a night coming back to the UK, you know, you've got all the city lights from the northern coast of Europe, and then, you know, you can usually see London and Kent, and there's just hundreds of lights, and all the red lights from the wind farms, you know, and all the other lights on the boats. So it's just incredible just how much maritime traffic is over the North Sea. It really is quite a lot. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, Cavacay in Brussels. So look, where else did I say? Frankfurt, that's always a good one. Nice big runway. Sim is very CPU intensive. Yeah. Seafront simulation, okay. Just let me see. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I say, Mark. Right, it's Frankfurt, it's Cavacay as well, there's no problems there. Where else did I say? Strasbourg. EDS. So German airports are usually so easy because it's just usually the first name of the city is the last letter of the 4-letter code. Has that worked? I don't know what's done. What have I done? That Strasbourg, Cavacay again, good. Munich, that's what I want to look at. Probably worth looking at Split just to make sure. DDM. Oh no, Zurich was it? Zurich's probably a bit closer. What's that? LSZH, if I remember my codes. I wonder if you can put the 3-letter codes in, it might make it a bit easier. Which you can do in the real life. So Zurich, a few showers around in the vicinity, good visibility, a few TCUs, 20 degrees, nothing too bad, maybe a little bit of weather, but nothing too significant, so that should be good. Okay, I'll put Split, SPU. No response. Ah, you can't do it. LDSP. That's a shame. Yeah, in the real life you can just put the 3-letter codes in. You just put, you know, Heathrow, Gatwick, Frankfurt, Munich, whatever, Nice. It saves you writing the 4-letter code out. Yeah, so it's good question, Dan. I'd love to know how she does it. Right, there we go, so Split, so 110 at 6 at the minute, Cavacay, 28 degrees, be coming from 10, there we go, so 10:30 Zulu, it's going to be after us, 230 at 12, so we can probably land with that. I'll do a landing distance calculation with a 12 knot tailwind, or even 15 knots, which is our maximum, and I bet we can still land with a 15 knot tailwind on 05, but, you know, that's boring, so do we really want to do that? Maybe not. Let's have a quick look now, actually. So Split 05, dry, Let's go 230. 230 at 15. What was the weather? So AOC received 28 degrees and 1020. 28. Zero. It's another nice thing which if Phoenix could do, it'd be great, is once you've completed one field, it just automatically goes over to the next, which is basically what FlySmart it does. You know, if you put in the wind and you finish it, and then you hit, there is a button, you've got to hit next, but then it just sort of goes to the next. But it'd be nice if they could code it so once you've done that, it just goes, okay, well you finished that, so you know there's the temperature, please, now I need the QNH. But it doesn't. So there we go. Right, fuel. What weight are we going to be? 56.5 plus about 3 tons. Let's say about 4, just to round it up. 60.5 tons will probably be pretty good. Excuse me. 60. So yeah, low order brake probably not. Medium order brake. Yeah, so there we go. Medium order brake, flat full landing with a 15 knot tailwind, so we could still technically land on 105 with no problems whatsoever. So there we go. That's that done. I had to go for work, be back now. Can see you flying, I'll be there. Hey Barry, I'm just glad we got airborne. You know, after the problem I've had in the last few weeks, and looking back on it, I'm trying to think if there was any correlation between putting the new RAM in and the rolling cache. Now I don't know, Dark Crumpet, you might know this better than I do, but I sort of had a bit of a, not epiphany, but a light bulb moment yesterday when I was speaking to Gav, and I said, you know, it's been fine since I put the RAM in, and funnily enough, since I put the RAM in, it's been fucking useless, and it's been so unstable. And you know, Gav said something similar. He said, yeah, mine was similar, but then he also said he then got an SSD, and then since he got that, it was a lot better. So I think ultimately the problem is probably the hard disk, but it did make me wonder if putting the new RAM in somehow tripped up Microsoft Flight Simulator and the rolling cache, and it somehow defaulted it to 0. Because when I looked at it yesterday and realised, oh, it was at 0, and I said to Gav, I said, oh, we put this at like 100 gigs, didn't we, like a few weeks ago, or a month ago? He said, yeah, we did. So something's happened which has caused that to go from maybe 100 to 0. And the only thing I could think of that I've actually, you know, physically done to the PC was put the new RAM in. You know, I haven't changed anything in the settings. You know, I didn't really tweak the data or do anything like that. So I'm wondering if that means that, you know, it caused the simulator to do something or reset something. I don't know. But since I've changed the rolling cache to a 50, you know, touch wood, suddenly it seems to be behaving a bit more. Which is probably why it's fine a few weeks ago before the RAM, because that's, you know, the rolling cache would have been ample, would have been decent. So yeah, maybe that was a reason. I don't know. But yeah, I do need an SSD, Barry. Ditch that hard disk. Yeah, it's trust me, guys. Like I'm with you. I know what you're saying. I do need to do it. But you know, just from my perspective, you know, if it behaves at the minute, the immediate urgency isn't there. I mean, if this didn't work today, then I would have been like, oh, piss. You know, I've got to get it. You know, I'm gonna have to buy one today, and just somehow, I probably would have lied. I just would have said, oh, it's not working, and Gav sent me one he had or something, or a spare, and but I probably would have come in an Amazon case with it, so it probably wouldn't have been that obvious. But yeah, I just would have had to lie, I think, and just say, no, it didn't cost me anything, like I basically did with the rudder pedals and the RAM and what else have I got? The desk and everything else, the bracket, everything else I've bought since I've got this. But you know, what she doesn't know won't hurt her. That's a lovely view over Europe. too sure where we are. Where are we? Brussels, I think. Yeah, Brussels should be there on the left. Is that Brussels? Yeah, there it is. There's Brussels. Pretty easy to spot. I don't have the scenery for Brussels. I know the scenery for Brussels is supposed to be very good, but I don't really do any flights out of there. I suppose I could do, can I? I could join Barry. We could do a Sabina flight, Barry. You know, somebody's spamming. Oh, I can't even get my words out. Yeah, we could do a Sabina down somewhere. There you go. You pick the route and I'll pick the time. Again, the details are still looking very good. You know, I think, you know, zooming up close, you know, this paint scheme seems to be pretty detailed. If I can wander in the back, I go for a wander. Ooh. It's the world's slowest walk. Right, you have control. I'm going for a wander. It's a very boring cabin, isn't it? It's very plain. Hosty. Bing bing. I want a tea. That's very politically incorrect, isn't it? Calling them a hosty. I could be sacked for saying things like that. Does it have... Oh, there we go. So this is one thing which I wanted to look at, because in the SOP document, which I've near enough finished, it talks about securing the aircraft, and there is a little switch up here which is called a maintenance bus, and basically you switch that on, and it's here in the sort of procedures. It talks about turning the maintenance bus on, and people could look at that and go, well, where the bloody hell's that? It's actually here in the galley on the overhead panel, and there's a little switch, and basically when you've got the external power turned on, you can turn everything off, so you can shut the aircraft down. But if you turn this little switch onto the maintenance bus, it keeps a couple of things powered. So there's a little electrical bus bar which is sort of rerouted effectively from the main electrical circuits, and the ground power goes in via that maintenance bus bar, so it sort of detours around there while the rest of the aircraft's effectively dead. And then that basically means things like the cabin lights and... Oh, it's not modelled. But if you ever look closely, if you ever go on a 320, next time you go on a 320, have a look down in the corner of door 1 right, because there's a little flap, a little panel there, and basically it's the plug. It's the standard British plug. So 3-pin plug that we get in British homes, and it's where they plug the vacuum cleaners in. So the cleaners can come on board and the lights will be on, so they can still vacuum and clean, you know, with the lights on. So the maintenance bus is turned on. There's a little switch, we can kind of sort of see it a bit blurry, but you turn that on and it powers this maintenance bus bar, and it keeps the electrical sockets powered and the internal lights, and there's a couple of other things it powers as well. I can't remember off the top of my head what it does, but I'd have to look at the FCOM. But it effectively means that the lights can be turned on and the cleaners can come on and hoover. So yeah, part of the SOP or securing the aircraft effectively is turning that on. Yeah, we'll create Sabina 503. I don't know, who's that? Is that a famous one? Is that one that's crashed? I shouldn't say that really, but Hosty, I want a toasty. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, Sabina had any crashes? Did they have? I guess they had a couple, didn't they? I think. I believe they did. I don't know what happened. How are you? You're back. Yeah, I'm very good. I'm good, Charlie. So I thought you were asking how is my back? No, my back's fine, but I am back. How? Yeah. So yeah. Do they still use that huge UV robot to clean that Honeywell made? Hey, UV robot? Honeywell? Modes? Made? You'd have to reword that, I think, Dan. Oh, it's the one that crashed. Oh, it was, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look that one up. On a typical daily shift, what is the maximum hours an airline pilot can work before having to rest? Okay, Dave, so it's reasonably simple, but it's not, if that makes sense. So it's all based on your check-in report. So it depends on your check-in report and how many sectors you're doing. So we're basically all compliant to EASA flight time limitations now. I think most airlines probably are, although we do have internal scheduling agreements and fatigue roster rules, which our airline shouldn't really go outside of because they're like internal union agreed rules that are applied to our roster. But underlining and underpinning that, all of that is a set of EASA flight time limitations, which is what we can effectively legally do, and that is the sort of legal benchmark. If we go outside of that, we're effectively operating illegally. So that's the sort of underpins everything. And to give you an example, and this is just off the top of my head, I did a flight the other day and checked in at about 8:30, something, I can't remember what it was, but my maximum duty period was, let me see if I can write this down because it might be a bit easier to explain. So my maximum FTP was 13 hours. So from check-in, so from about 8:30 in the morning till parking the aircraft when I get back to the base. So this is actually, being on stand. This isn't off duty because we get a bit of time after we've parked as well as duty time, to sort of complete paperwork, etc. But this is, the minute we put the parking brake on the other end. We had a maximum flight duty period of 13 hours, which doesn't include the half an hour or so after parking brake, but so it gets a bit confusing. But we had 13 hours max FTP. But what we also get is a discretion period. So on a normal duty, we then get an extra 2 hours discretion. Now this is what's known as commander's discretion. This isn't the company's discretion. This isn't anybody else. This is the commander's discretion, and it is up to me, effectively, as the commander, to say, I am allowing us to carry on for another 2 hours, but I will only do so if it is safe to do so. So if I'm not fatigued, if the first officer's not fatigued, and if the crew aren't fatigued, which is the big one, so that's the really big one, because you get a lot of cabin crew. So I'm not working to discretion. They're very militant about it. They go, we're not working to discretion. It's like, well, hang on a minute, we're nowhere near that. We're not even there yet. We haven't even pushed back from base. And you're talking about, possibly 13 hours later. But they're a little bit militant about it. But it's fine, because I don't mind it if because ultimately you just say, well, are you fit to fly? Because if they say no, then that's the answer. If they're not fit to fly, we're not really effectively allowed to use discretion, because you don't have crew that are fit to operate. But we do have 2 hours to use if we think it's safe to do so effectively. So this duty period, this could be like 10 hours as well. So if we did like 4 sectors at a different time of the day, we might only get 10 hours worth of flight duty period, and then we can add 2 to that, so it might only make a maximum of 12 hours that we can do. But in this case, we had 13 hours, so we could actually do up to 15 hours flying. But that was because we were doing 2 sectors, and we sort of checked in at a reasonable time of the day, so we weren't checking in at really early time or really late time where it's sort of interrupting our sleeping patterns. So yeah, it's sort of this first figure really depends on the time of day you check in, the number of sectors, and then we've got this discretion, and then there's also another thing that we do where we can do extended duties. So we've already got an extended flight duty period, but then there's caveats around that about having certain rest days before and after, and various other things that we have. But the maximum discretion we can use in that case is then only 1 hour. So if we're doing an extended duty, we can only get 1 hour's discretion. So I hope that explains a little bit, Dave. It's a bit more complicated, but I mean, you are right. We do have a maximum number of hours we can use, but it's very dependent on what we're doing on the day, effectively. And obviously this is all written in our fatigue manuals. So hopefully that's answered that. Just departed Cologne. Oh, nice one, Christian. You're going to join. You did this yesterday, so it's, well, I suppose you can improve on yesterday's landing if centerline. But yeah. They made a cleaning robot, cleaning trolley. Oh, okay. I've never seen that, Dan, personally. I've never seen that cleaning robot. It sounds quite interesting. But if it's a UV light, won't it like show up all the bodily fluids, which I'd hate to know where they are. I mean, I'd hate to think where all the bodily fluids are in the cabin. That's not something I'd want to know. No worries, Dave. Yeah, I mean, that sort of explains it a little bit more complicated. Went into a bit more depth. And I don't have a table handy to me, but going back to the flight tutor period, it can really sort of not confuse things, but upset things if you're going to do a 2-sector day, and then you've got to divert. So say for example we're doing split, so we're doing this day, so our max FTP, let's say it's probably 13 hours. So we would have checked in at we took off at 09, so 080 local. So, sorry, 080 Zulu, so our max FTP was 13 hours on top of that, so that would have been, till 2100 Zulu, so till 10 o'clock tonight. But if we had some sort of medical emergency now, or a disrupted passenger said, right, we're dropping you off in Munich, mate, and, you can see the Munich police if you're going to be an arsehole, obviously then we would land, then we'd take off again, go to split, but then we've got to get back, so that then turns a 2-sector day into a 3-sector day. But then that suddenly changed your max FTP, so your max FTP might have gone from 13 hours down to like 11 hours because you've now added another sector. So it complicates things a little bit more that way. But are you departed? Are we all going to land at the same time? Is there going to be like a bum fight for who gets to land down the other end? I'm glad. I'm pleased people can join. Good. Still don't have any. Oh, I'm about to go into. Am I about to go into some airspace? I'm about to go into some airspace. I think. I don't know if he's still on. So quick look. Munich. Yes, a lot of Germany's up. A lot of Germany controllers up. There we go. I might get a ping in a minute. Don't have pilots, but I fly a lot long haul business. Do you get used to it? And you do get used to it. Yeah. I can always sleep on an aircraft. I never ever struggle sleeping on an aircraft at all, even in one of the most uncomfortable seats. As long as I've got a hoodie on, that's pretty much the key for me. As long as I've got a hoodie where I can sort of cover my face, yeah, I'm airborne. Yeah, I don't gaff. So I think the rolling cash did it, mate. I think we've sorted that. I think ultimately, the general consensus is I probably do need an SSD, but as I said to the other guys, I'm reasonably satisfied with this at the minute because it seems to be working. I think so long as it works, as long as it's behaved, no pens will be harmed in the future, and we can work with this. We can deal with it. At least I can sit here and just chat and talk about things. And at the end of the day, we don't really get to see much anyway apart from look out the window. But this sort of stage of flight should be relatively straightforward. So yes, good. I was waffling on about something a minute ago. I can't remember what it was. Right, his frequency is 135. Was it 135.725? Oh, Jesus Christ! Ah! Oi! Fucking dog. Hang on a minute. The dog's just scared the shit out of me. 1 second. What was that? Oh, Jesus. Decides to bark at the post. I suppose he's doing his job. Anyway, 135.725. Right, release ready if he calls. No, still no pings. Okay. Oh, I might not speak to him, I don't know. He might. This is the southern part of his airspace, I think, so he may not even care. I'm probably just clipping it, so he may not even want to speak to me. He's gone red on the map. What does it mean when it goes red on the map? Does it mean they buggered off? Oh no, I've selected him. That's maybe what it is. Oh, maybe I'll speak to him anyway. Hang a radar. Let's have a word. He'll either say bugger off or just say fine, thanks very much.
Kilo 536, proceed direct Delta Kilo 554, descend flight level 90.
Direct Delta.
Yeah,
Kilo
it's Barry. Yeah,
Flight level 90.
yeah, that's his name. Langer radar, very good afternoon to you. Kestrel 6543, flight level 350, just past Pitters. Thinks you're in your airspace now. We're squawking 2000.
Thomas Cook 6543, you can monitor Unicom 128, bye bye.
Yeah, no worries. Monitor Unicom, Kestrel 6543, thanks, have a good day. Fine, he's not interested. Back to Unicom then. Yeah, who do you think's more behaved, Barry? I'd like to say my dog, actually, because he's generally very good, but when I've got headphones on and he shouts, he barks, Jesus Christ. Heart's still beating. Right, paranoia check. Always paranoia check, always think about things. When's the MSA going up? That's the next important thing. Always something to look at. We're not too, we're a bit further down. Cars rule 555, 585, Zibix 103, 11.2, 13, 14.7. There we go, quite high near Giris. So yeah, 14.7's worst case at Giris, also about an hour and 25 minutes into the flight. And then it's all pretty good after that. Good. It's closing. That'd be why then. That'd be why he's not interested. Oh yeah, wait. There was Giris. That was somewhere around here, wasn't it? Giris, there we go. Yeah, so that makes sense. So, yeah, quite high flight levels, minimums. Yeah, it must be Chris. Yeah. He's having his. What's it? Where's Peter? Peter's not on here, is it? Was it? They have half-hour breaks. Is it air traffic controllers? I can't remember. Is it they work for? Is it? I can never. Do they work for half an hour then have a 2-hour break, or do they work for 2 hours and have a half-hour break? I don't know what it is. Or do they work for half an hour have a half-hour break? It's something like that. But I don't think I would want to do their job. Very clever people doing that. I'm far too clever. Sorry, I'm not. They're far too clever, and I'm not that clever. So I couldn't do their job at all. I could just point a long tubular bit of metal just through the sky. No, you literally you're laying on the seat, mate. Honestly, I can't move my seat because he's laying on the leg bits. Work for 30 minutes and have a 2-hour break. It's something like that. It's ridiculous. Oh, there we go, Charlie. Yeah, I jest, but they need it. I think, to be fair, it's a very, very difficult job. And sometimes when we speak to like the London controllers, Jesus Christ, we take off out of like Luton or Manchester or Gatwick or wherever it is, and you check in. It's like the first radio call after being handed over from the tower. And you're just sitting there going, I can't get an initial call in. They've just got to call me because it's Speedbird this, Delta that, EasyJet. It's just one call after another, and they're just doing it because it's so busy, and you can't even press the push to talk button to get. You just literally have to wait for them to go, are you with me? And you go, yeah, with you. Passing whatever level, 4,000 feet, whatever departure. But yeah, sometimes it can be really, really, really busy. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Wind shift. There you go. Alright, just so you don't mess around, 7.6 is selected. See, that's obviously a bit of a simism. You know, we don't. I mean, we do get clear air turbulence. You know, it is there. You know, that's actually, to be fair, that's similar to what happens when you get wake turbulence. You know, you get wake turbulence and the aircraft upsets just a little bit like that. So, you know, that was almost indicative of just flying through somebody's wake. I don't know if we were, probably not, because I can't see anybody. But yeah, occasionally when you fly through wake turbulence, the aircraft just goes and sort of rolls a bit. Speed goes up and down, and you know, passengers feel it in the back. And it's easier for us because we can see it usually. So obviously we can see other aircraft around us. They're going to be on TCAS as well, and the contrails, you know, or chemtrails. You know, that button, that secret button that we've got that turns on the chemtrails. You know, that we press every time we go flying, and you can see those in the sky. So you can see when you fly through one. When you see one, if you're flying perpendicular and you're going to go through one, you know, you're like, oh, it's going to get a little bumpy for a second, and that's exactly what happens. The aircraft just goes, whoop, and then it sort of gets into the clear airspace again, clear air, and it carries on. So yeah, even though it's a bit of a simmism where it just sort of changes that weather momentarily, it is very similar to what wake turbulence is like. Which, having said that, actually, what is the Sigma like today? Because it was okay yesterday. Weather. Oh, for goodness sake. Another bit of wake turbulence. Alright, 7.6, keep you climbing, still fine. Alright, just in case it happens again, belts are on. Be spinning somebody's teeth. See you later, Charlie. We're able to fix it. J. Caracal. Sorry if that pronunciation's wrong. Yes, you know, so far it seems to be okay. We seem to think that the rolling cache was maybe the initial problem, where mine was set to 0, which was not a good thing at all. So we've put that back to 50. It was on 100, I think. You know, I did put it on 100 weeks ago, but it somehow mysteriously dumped itself. And maybe that was the change of the RAM, maybe that caused that, I don't know. But it was on 0, which obviously didn't help things at all. And damn, I'm watching this real life pilot confirms. So I've put I did a defrag of the hard disk yesterday, which has probably helped a little bit, and then we put the rolling cache back to 50 last night. And then obviously we're trying this today, just experimenting. We didn't really do any pre-flight stuff. If you look back to the stream, it's literally spent 5 minutes on the ground, then we just got going because there was no point wasting an hour of my day to brief, only to crash in the taxiway again. So far so good, and I think the rolling cache has probably helped, but the general consensus is yes, you know, we are probably going to have to upgrade to an SSD at some point, but I don't think there's any urgency for that immediately, because this seems to be behaving. And it's still the Phoenix, which is great as well, because you know, Gav's saying, "Oh, try the fly-by-wire." And it's like, I do want to try the fly-by-wire. I do want to give it a go. But with this destination specifically, we're probably doing an RNAV, an RMP visual approach. So you know, you may need final app to work, and it's like I just want to push it. You know, I know that's a little bit stubborn and a bit, you know, tenacious, but it's like I do just want to, you know, really try and get this working. Only, and this is no disrespect to the fly-by-wire at all, because I think the fly-by-wire is excellent. It is literally only because the aircraft is pretty much all there. So it just makes a stream a bit more realistic. It makes my experience a bit more realistic, because obviously the aircraft's working like it should do. And it also gives me a bit of an opportunity to explain things. So, who was asking me about the RTA? Was it you, Crumpet? Is Crumpet still here? Or was he gone? I think Crumpet was asking me about the RTA yesterday. And this is the other thing, like, you know, I can actually demonstrate this, or hopefully I can demonstrate it. By doing things. Let's just find a waypoint. Girius, that might do. It's 10:26. So I think Crumpet might have gone, but so we got an RTA. So it's estimating us to be at 10:26. So we're in managed speed. So an RTA is basically it's revised time of arrival, I think is what it stands for, if I remember. So if ATC, for whatever reason, that we wouldn't really do this on short flights, it's sort of long haul and North Atlantic track, Oceanic airspace that do this. But I can demonstrate this on the Phoenix, which I don't know if I can do on the fly-by-wire. So it just gives me a little bit more freedom to sort of show things. But let's say ATC said, right, we want you at Giris at 1024 at the latest. Zoom out. Hopefully, if I put that in, the managed speed is going to increase because it's going to speed up because it now wants to make that constraint. So if I insert that, hopefully managed speed will increase. There we go, which is exactly what it's done. So now we said we wanted to be at Giris at 1024, which is not. Let's say it's struggling because it's got to accelerate so far. But imagine you've got hundreds of miles to go, or 200 or 300 miles to get somewhere, and you've only got like a minute to do that. You can change these times. Let's go 1025, see if that makes it a bit more happy. Insert. The aircraft is still going to struggle a bit. It's probably because it's not that far away, so it's just going to struggle to do that in that sort of distance. But this is the benefit of Phoenix, is that it's got a little bit more coding, I suppose, so I can show things, which I may not be able to do on the fly-by-wire. But that's not to say I don't want to. I do want to fly the fly-by-wire. I'm going to do that. I'm going to use it for a more. I would say the word boring. That's the wrong word. But a more normal day where it's just an ILS to an ILS and nice big. Nice big runways, and I don't really have to demand too much in terms of like the approach capabilities or anything else like that. So, I will do it. And of course, the other different thing with the fly-by-wire is the EFB is completely different. So I've got to relearn that effectively and just understand how that works. I know the Phoenix pretty well, where I don't the fly-by-wire. So I do want to do it. Seems smooth enough. Belts are off. But it's just finding the time, and it's like I said. The problem is the Phoenix is so well modelled. It's difficult to come away from that because it just has a few more things, but there we go. It's that is what it is. What I did notice as well, the fuel's gone up, so this is looking a bit better. So originally this was all amber on the ground, negative figures, but now once we're airborne, so I don't think there's a bit of a problem in the coding, but we've got loads of time now, which is basically what we wanted. We wanted 400 extra, plus a bit of contingency was about 700, but this is burning a lot less than probably what it should be. Yeah, see that. I mean, 900 kilograms per hour per engine is sort of donkey balls really. It's just a load of bollocks. It's going to be a lot higher. But at least the fuel's gone up, so at least we're not really worried about sort of fuel anymore and committing and maybe playing with the alternate fuel or something just to commit to split. Which is not really somewhere you want to commit to, but there we go. Reach split at 11:03. So what have I got? So I've got 11:17. So you're going to be beating me by a few minutes. So 11:06, 11:03. So I'm about 10 minutes. Time to go cost index 50. I wonder what that do because I've got the fuel for it. What's happened to managed speed? 7.9. But yeah, Dan, you said it was nicely modelled how it increases the speed on the RTA as it is, and again that sort of goes back to the Phoenix model. It's just nice because it's got that sort of what's the word? Fidelity, I suppose, is the best word. It does have that fidelity. So cost index 50 has saved me 3 minutes. There you are. Yes, 3 minutes. 3 minutes that you don't have to wait, isn't it? Right, should we have a quick look at briefings because it's not actually a long flight, is it? I'm trying to think. What time am I landing? 11:03 or 7. So 12:15. That's 1. This is a Bioma. Yeah, I could potentially do a return. Potentially. I might be able to do a 2-sector out of this. I'm trying to think. I've got a couple of chores to do. Yeah, I might be able to do it. Possibly. See the A380. That's one thing which I know some people love it, Paul. Again, the 380 doesn't really do anything for me. But that's just personal preference. It's I just can't be asked to sit in a long haul aircraft and sat there for hours on end. Right, radar minimums. Lots of high terrain around. Obviously to the north and northeast. Noise abatement, not too worried about that because I'm not taking off. but obviously a noise abatement procedure off 2-3. General, probably a few things in here. Yeah. I mean, we've got company briefs that will sort of probably discuss most of this. Approach, this is the one I want to look at. Not that, the arrival, sorry. Yeah, approach. So, 2-3. So on our visual we can look at this. This is probably more likely what we're going to do. VR Bravo, these are the old school methods of doing it. There's a procedure, there's a way to configure the aircraft if you do this, but we probably won't do that. NDB won't do that, Visual Approach for 2-3 won't do that either, really. But there's another option. So let's have a quick look at these. Missed approach. So there's 2 missed approach procedures really. There's one at Walker. So if you're not visual by Rorke, you do the go around, which is basically off to the southeast. Papa 502, then down, back around again. I'll be on the ground before others can watch me. Yeah. VNAV's not as good in the Phoenix. It's still good, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I can't comment down because I've not flown it yet, so I don't really know. And obviously, you know, I mean, managed descents, you know, VNAV. I mean, this is where, and this is what I said to Gav for about a year, I think, because you know, obviously the fly-by-wire never had it. You know, there's a lot of people on his streams commenting, oh, they need to have it. I was like, you know, they don't need to have it because you can do it mentally. You can do mental arithmetic. You know, if you can multiply by 3, you can fly an Airbus. You know, it's pretty simple. But you know, if you can work it out mentally, that's all you really need. And you know, as soon as it's then programmed in and you can use the automatics, it's great. But you still really want that fundamental descent management. You still need to know where you are in space. You know, the profile, how high you are, how far you've got to go, and you need to be able to work it out pretty quickly. To sort of, you know, basically back up that the managed descent is working. You know, because if you can't work that out, you know, mentally, then you know, how do you know if the automatic's working or not? Because you don't have any sort of reference. So you know, you do want to be able to work things out, you know, mentally, just so you can back it up. So I think it's done a lot of people a favour by not having a managed descent mode, because it's forced people to actually go back to the basics and work things out mentally, which you know is then underpinning your airmanship skills when it comes on to having something like the Phoenix, which does do it automatically, because you've already got those skills and fundamental you know, sort of procedures sort of in your brain, I suppose, effectively. Right, so we'll do that. We'll look at the brief for this. Let's go around, obviously, for that as well. What's with visual? Track. Yeah, 10,000 is the transat. Okay, GNSS only. Yeah, we've got that. That's fine. So, yeah, I'm interested not to be using radar service unavailable. Well, if we don't have radar, if we don't have ATC, you know, can we use it? Well, yeah, probably not. But you know, this is fancy. So there we go. Let's do what we want. Visual approach track. Yeah, good. We'll do that. Special notes. Yeah. I'm just reading this. Right, when it was 2000, 10 kilometres, which I'm pretty sure we had that earlier. So 4,000, 509, 3,000 Nuret, and then Rorke. So I'd imagine it would start descending after Nuret. Okay, and then a visual procedure after that. Right, let's have a look, let's see what we've got. What's in here? In fact, let's just copy this first, make sure that's the secondary. Right, so we've got the ILS to 05 if we need to, that's in the secondary if we need it. And then we can go RNAV visual, which I would imagine is that one. VORs, yeah, so there we go. And we need to find out where this is coming from. Who was it that went off the runway and split last time? Was that Dark? I'm sure Gav was watching something and somebody came off the runway. I mean, it looked entertaining. What do I want? Lido, there we go. Split. 2-3, check. CCI. No, not that. That's star. I was a little bit quiet, just getting charts all organised. Right, so it'll probably be Sal 1 Yankee. That's what we do. Sal 1 Yankee, and hopefully it's by Lassel. Make sure this is all good. So insert that. What's in stone? Yeah, yeah. I apologise if it wasn't Tarky, it was somebody else. But right, let's have a look. Make sure we're all good. Right, why are you going back and forth? Yeah, this is interesting. So there's obviously some discontinuity or something here. So we got SP701, which is inbound to Lazzle, and then it's got a hold. So why has it got a hold in Lazzle? Immediate exit. Do that. That's looking a bit better. I vaguely remember actually Gav did this and he had a similar sort of issue. It's, yeah, I don't know why it's putting the hold in. And it doesn't have the waypoints either. Right. Okay. Right, so we're not going to do this. Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry. No, sorry, I forgot you were on the chair. Oops. Yeah, we're not going to do this. We can't do it, basically. So we don't have the waypoints. They're not in the box. So I'm fairly sure that if they're not in the box, we're not allowed to do it. So this might make it a bit more interesting, because we might have to do the visual approach instead. Let me just have a quick look at what it says in the brief. So it's Cat B, circling height, high terrain, runway slope, engine out seared, yeah. Operating restrictions, no experienced captains, first officers, that's fine, and applied. Runway 23 captains only approaching and landing, yeah. Standard visual approach shall not be flown. The INAV visual approach is the company method of flying visual approach to runway 23, and if the weather conditions seen in viz do not permit the INAV visual approach, then the VOR Bravo approach should be flown. So there's no, there's a visual approach in Navigraph. So we have this one, but yeah, we're not allowed to do that. So we're not going to do that. We are probably going to be doing this, by the looks of it. So a bit more old school. VOR Bravo published minimum. So daytime only, procedure not allowed at night. That's fine. It's not going to be night time for us. Terrain rises rapidly inland from the west to the north to the east. Refer to the MRC chart. Yeah. 105 departures done applied to us. When inconsistent with expected information display, crew should prepare to intervene. Selected guidance if necessary until the initial right track to 148 is complete. Right, that must be engine out stuff. VOR Bravo 23 on a stable approach have been reported due to downsloping terrain before the runway threshold, creating a false visual effect of being low. Runway 5 is a variable slope. Initially there's a slight upslope on the threshold. For the first 500 metres, a significant downslope to the threshold of runway 23. Finally, upsloping again for the last 106. Right, so yeah, it's a bit of a funny shape, this one. Backtrack is required. Both runways, 10 circles available, both ends. Reports a wind shear around 700 feet and finest to 05, no prior warnings to ATC. Due to the proximity to the high ground, turbulence to be expected with strong winds. Where if it's sort of southeasterly, all the winds are coming from this direction, so there shouldn't really be any, turbulence. How are we doing? Right, over the Alps now. So we'll see MSA, what did we say? Giris. Just like 15,000, so yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to back. I'm gonna have to look at another crash to desktop. Oh, sorry, Paul. Yeah, you have my sympathy, mate, because it's been plaguing me recently. So, possibility of wind shear, medium size, military heliport 700 metres south of the runway threshold. Okay. Radar, limited. Usually parked in front of the terminal, stands 6 to 10. So here we go. The RNAV visual approach is the company preferred approach to runway 23. Visual conditions are established with airport environment at Nurat. So we'll have to see the airports by the time we're here, which we should do. Visual approach stability criteria apply. Rovers to runway 23 via Lazel. Do not need a via approach to be sent in the FMS. Okay, when assigned to near the stars. Evuga must not be used. Okay. So this approach is coded from runway 23 thresholds. In the event of go-around, nav engagement will guide you along the visual approach to the runway 2. Do not accelerate 160 knots until on the final approach check. Yeah, right. So it said there isn't one via Lazel. Let's have a quick look at this again. Approach via. So we're going no via. I wonder if that tidies it up. Not that I don't think we can do it anyway, but let's just have a quick look. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so if you put in the no via, then that actually tidies it up. Good. Right, so that solves that enigma. Just had a TCAS clash with a Sun Air. Was he going the wrong flight level by any chance? How long have we got till top of drop, just so I know how long we've got to set this up? What's that, 10, 20, 30 minutes? Not a long time, actually. Yeah, so I don't think we can do this approach. That's the worrying thing. Because, effectively, what an RNAV visual approach does is, this is an approach that is coded into the FMGC. So you press the approach push button before Nurat, because that's effectively the final descent points, because it's going to start going down from there. So it would go into final lap at Nurat, and it would go to Rorke, and then the next waypoint in the flight plan would be Sierra Papa 504, 505, 505, 506, and it would do this in final lap, and there would be altitude constrictions coded into this. I don't know what they are, but they'd probably be coded in, and it would follow this down. And you could leave it in fine lap, so it would just do all of this, in managed approach. But you need to be visual. That's the caveat. So you have to be visual from Rorke, or you have to be visual anyway. But you still have to maintain visual from Rorke to allow it to continue. But you can just leave the automatics in to do this. Now you can only do that for the waypoints are here, but the waypoints aren't in. So because the waypoints aren't in, you can't really do it unless you just flew it manually from Rorke, which yes, you could do, but that's not what we do. So we don't do that. So we do the VOR Bravo approach. So let's have a look at that instead, because this is going to be a bit more interesting. Because it's going to be a bit more work, but it's fine because we can set it all up so it works. So let's go VOR Bravo. Well, that one. This might have to be from Lazel, because this might have to be in. Insert. Alright, let's have a quick look at this again. No, it's okay. Let's put the no var in. It's no var. He overtook me, but just simply wanted to fly into the. Oh yeah, brilliant. Yeah, what did I say about VATSIM people the other week? It's just full of numpties. Right, that's looking better. Right, so how are we going to fly this? Because this requires a little bit of thought on this one. So let's have a quick look at the actual briefing. Put it here. So we're going to go Osgood, I think it is. Chemics, no. Okay, we're going to go Sal. No, it's not going to be that one. Probably be that one now, won't it? There we go, it'd be that one. So the Sal 1 Yankee, that gets us to Lazar, which is there, that's fine. So even if they're in the database, you're not allowed to, you're not, Gav. No, that's it. That's exactly it. I'd need to find a reference for this. But those waypoints should be in the approach for the RNAV visual, because you're basically flying it as a managed approach, you know, in fine lap. You know, they're fine for reference, but it means you can't use fine lap if it's not part of the flight plan. That's basically the rule. So if it's not part of the flight plan, you can't use the managed approach. You can use it for reference, but you can't actually use managed approach to do it. So because it's not in the flight plan, you know, basically got to revert to this. So anyway, just looking at the quick notes, we got so VOR Bravo circling prescribed tracks, which is what it is. So vertical path is not coded, so effectively we're going to get down to, what's that, about 4,000 feet, and then maybe that's 2,500 feet possibly. Yeah, 2,500 feet to get to the 5 miles waypoint, and that's our final descent point there, going down to our minimums, which is only 2,000 feet. So 2,040 in this instance. It says. So vertical profile path is not coded, so the approach will be flown in nav FPA from the platform to the circling maneuver. So from here, nav FPA. Centre fix to the threshold 2-3 is coded. Coding is available in the FMGC. Okay, so we can just extend the centre line in that respect. Configuration and energy management must be comprehensively briefed, as crew will have to recover a 3-degree flight path angle, 8 nautical miles to run from the Sierra Papa Lima to the runway threshold. Right. Oh, it's been a while since I've done this. I have done this in the sim a while ago, but I'm just trying to remember it. SP507, wherever that is right. So we can do this. Come on, don't crash on me now, baby. So hopefully these are in. So Sierra Papa 507. Ignore it. Apologies if I'm not looking at the AP, sir. Yeah, well, we're talking about controllers not long ago. That's not in database, eh? Bastard. Yeah, you're just making my life even harder on you. 508. No, not in database. Okay. Can I add it? I might be able to add it at least. You don't give me. You don't give me the Latin corners, do you? It's making it hard work now. Okay, right. So we can't use those waypoints, so do not shorten the trajectory, but do not overshoot the 4.6 from Sierra Papa Lima. Okay, so we can put this in, Sierra Papa Lima. We can't put 4.6, unfortunately. 15.7, is that right? It's probably about right, isn't it? Yeah, that'd be about right, I'm sure it will. Well, let's just put 5, but we know we can't be less than 4.6. Downsloping terrain during the final turn and before the runway 23 creates a false visual effect of being low. Pilot monitoring roles essential during the visual pass of the approach is effective monitoring lateral. Missed approach. For Sierra Papa Lima for right, okay. Now it seems to have disappeared. I bet it's disappeared because we don't do this anymore. Yeah, it's been years since I've done this. I think our brief used to be quite good. It used to say what we need to do at what points on the approach, so what speeds we need to be at what points. So you know, we're in the right place. But they've sort of taken that out because we don't really do the VOR Bravo anymore, because we do the RNAV visual. But we can't do that in the sim. Right, let's Cat 3 down there, 049. Okay. Right. I'm fairly happy I know what I'm doing. MB Flying Thomas Cook. They're not paid. They've not paid their bills for the list. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, that's very true actually, Gav. They wouldn't even have this. I mean, it's a relatively new thing. All the Alps are looking lovely. So that's... I'm sure we just passed Innsbruck. Sort of behind us over there somewhere. Somewhere I've not been actually is Innsbruck. Right, let's put another fix in because we need to do that. Let's put Sierra Papa Lima 03, was it? Or 3.4. Yeah, you're already in there. Right, let's create a new waypoint. SPL 034. There we go, that'll do. SPL 049, I think it was. This is just this waypoint up here, so 3, where does it say 3? Yeah, 049, 3.4 miles. 4. PBD 15.7. That's it. Store. So that's in there at least. That's done. Weathers I'll get in a minute for that. So 019. So if I say 4, how many miles is that? So I can be at 2,500 feet at Lazle. So 110, it says 4,000 feet, okay. Okay, oh, we can work that out. We can sort it out. Lazle, yeah, it ought to be a bit lower than that. 4,000 feet. It's probably maximum. Let's go 160 actually. It's going to be a very conservative approach. Lazle. Low. Let's get any weather. In fact, I can probably do that on the EFB, can't I? Yeah, let's write this down. Flights. This flight's actually going a little bit quicker than I thought. Not that one. That one. No, that one. That one. What's the alternate looking like? Zadars, Kevin K, good, that's wide open if we need to. So, what we got? 110 at 5 still. 5, Kava K. 291019. Venice looks like it's probably wide open. So 1019. No, wrong way. Right, what was the minimums? What airline do I work for? A very large European one. Calais, that's all I can say, I'm afraid. Can't say much more than that. So, there you go, yeah, 2,000, let's say 2,100 feet is the minimum. We're going to be visual anyway, so that's not going to be too applicable to us. So, Kinnish is 1019, 29 degrees. The wind at the minute is 1105, but that may come round. Let's go 2,100 for the minimum. We got a nice long runway. Let's go config 3, I think. Ground effect's not quite as bad in config 3, I find. I'm sure landing distance would be fine for that. 2, 3. Apply meter, yeah. Let's go medium flap 3, that'll be fine. Right, I think it's all set up. Unfortunately, the aerodrome brief's not very good. We've got about 15 minutes till we're going down. So let's have a quick look at how we're doing it. Where's the chart again? Not that one. Yeah, this is very frustrating because we did used to have a bit of a guide, really, of how to set this up. What speeds to fly. Set not to be used for visual manoeuvring. No, good. Right, okay, well, let's just have a quick chat of what we're doing, just so it's sort of in our heads, really. In terms of the brief, the weather's fine, so there's no problems with that. We've got the visibility, I think. I didn't actually look at that, but yeah, I'm sure we have. Cavalcade, yeah, so visibility's all good, so that's not a problem. The aircraft's all fine. There's no problems. There's no reason we can't do this approach. NOTAMs, there wasn't really anything in the NOTAMs that's going to affect us. The threats, obviously, a few threats really for terrain. That's the major one. MSA 8400 to the sort of north and northeast. Lots of terrain up to the northwest as well, so north of the airfield. No visual manoeuvring is allowed north of that as well, so it's all going to be done to the south and southeast. What we're going to do is this VOR Bravo procedure. We're going to be about 4,000, maybe at last we'll get down to about 2,500 feet, and then we can get down to effectively our circling minimum at 2,100 feet after we pass the 5-mile waypoint as well. So we'll do this a nice stabilised approach, so we get the gear down, flaps out, probably before we start going down. Get to flap 3 as well before we get to split. That's the idea. So maybe at VAP and flap 3 by the time we split, and then from there, if we're not visual, the missed approach is basically taking us to the southeast to Humac. But if we are visual, we'll just continue on 049 up this way to about 3.4, which is in the fixes page, so we know where that is. So we'll see that on the navigation display, and then we can make a left-hand turn, maximum 108 knots, so we'll be below that, and then keep within this 4.6 DME arc from split, left-hand turn back inbound to the runway. And there were a few waypoints that you could program, and they could give you some rough height checks, but these waypoints don't exist, so I can't do that, unfortunately. So I'm just going to have to eyeball it a little bit and see how it works, and just keep my eyes open and try and get sort of visual on the pappies pretty quick. So it is like a circling procedure, so circling stability criteria applies. So 400 feet we're going to have to be stable. So 400 feet on top of the runway threshold is 478. So as long as by 478 feet we're stable and within 30 degrees of the runway track, so certainly left or right of that, we're looking good. And then just visually land on the runway. We've gone full flap 3, medium order brake, and that should be more than enough to get us off at Alpha. And then in terms of the parking, we're usually in front of the terminal. So where is our parking? There we go, that's probably what I want. So anywhere 6 to 10 apparently, so somewhere around here, maybe 6, maybe one of these. So one of these stands, I would guess 6 if we can get it, if not, maybe some down there. It doesn't really matter if there's going to be a few people down there. So that's what we're planning to do. We can keep this arrival as well. The Sao 1 Yankee, that's all in there. I'm sure the flight constraints are in. So we've got Buffalo 160, 110 and 4,000 at last. So I've lowered, no, I've put that at 4,000 just to make sure we get it as well. I need a hard tune split as well, that's the other thing I need to do. So let's just have a quick look, make sure the constraints are in for the open star. Nope. SP 710. Okay, constraints not actually there by the looks of it. Oh, probably I just haven't got the constraints bar. There we go. Yeah, press the right button, dickhead. There we go. So that's in 160 and 110. Yeah, good. That's good. That's all done. 250 knots, which will probably be below that, more or less that by the time we get to Chemex. So that's done. I do need to put split in. Need to put the inbound course. So that's going to be important. So split that one, and the inbound course is. Are you good with me holding it? What's that, Chris? Are you good with me holding it lasso at 4,000? Do you want me to at least find? Well, you're going to be there at the same time. Feel free to do however you like, but yeah, I mean, as long as we can deconflict ourselves, well, I can slow down a bit if that helps. So 019 is the inbound course. So we'll have that both sides because that's going to be quite important. Split 019. And the other thing I want to do is I want to put the 30-degree arcs in because it's a circular approach. We've got to be within 30 degrees. So LDSP23, and then we want the reciprocals of these plus 30. So what's that going to be? 30 on top of that is 07, 59, 69, 079. That's correct. Yeah, there's one of them. The other one is 049 minus 30 is 019. Right, so that's the other thing we've done. If you want to let me go in first, just ahead of me, yeah. I mean, we can sort it out. I'm sure we can manage it between the three of us. So we can see that's the flight plan. That's all in there. So 4,000's VAP. What's VAP as well? I need to look at that. VAP's going to be about 139. We'll put 140 in at splits. Just make sure the speed's all good. There we go, done. So that's the plan. We're going to be down here. We're going to be effectively 4,000 feet descending to how far away is Lasso? 10 miles. We got, what's that? 2,000 feet to lose in 10 miles. That's not too bad. That should be fine. So yeah, nice and configured, nice and early Lasso down to about 2,100 feet, which is basically the circular minimum at split. So gear down flap 3 at VAP at split, and then from there we just make a right hand turn off towards SPL 034, which is 3.4 miles, and after that we can then start making the left turn onto the actual final approach and doing that. So I'm just trying to think at 3.4 2,000 feet, so we're probably going to want to start descending, I'd imagine, because we're going to be close, if not on the profile as we start that turn. So at least the speed of configuration is going to be fine. Halfway around the turn, so if that's 4 miles, that's from the VOR though, isn't it? That's not from the threshold. Let's put the threshold in because that could be useful. LDSP23. Yeah, so this is where it's going to be difficult to judge really, because we're going to be maybe a couple of miles or so, 2 or 3 miles when we're about here. So that's going to be about 600 to 900 feet. But we can start descending. We can start descending. We don't have to stay at 2,000 feet here. We only have to stay at 2,000 feet or 2,100 feet until we're visual. It's 2,100 feet until we get to the VOR. But as soon as we've passed the VOR, we can start descending then onto what's going to be effectively probably a decent profile. So yeah, maybe getting down to about 1,200-1,300 feet before we start the left turn. That should probably keep us more or less on profile there. And obviously this will be done in track, be done in Do this in nav FPA, and then we can turn to track FPA once we start getting towards the split. Wind has changed, is it? Awesome. Good, so that's in our favour to land on 2-3. There we go, brilliant, yeah, 2205 QNH, yeah, good. So yeah, a bit of a complicated this one, this approach, because we don't do this anymore. I mean, we used to do this. This used to be an old approach that we used to do, and our brief was actually very good because it was very prescriptive and it just said exactly what you needed to do at certain stages on the approach. But it's gone. You know, that prescriptive instructions of what we were doing is not there anymore because now we do the unofficial approach, but we can't do the unofficial approach here because we don't have the waypoints. So there we go. Hi, YV135 Charlie. Yeah, buddy. Right, I think that's all good. I think we're done. Where's my phone? There it is. Have we got any ATC? Oh, it's Mrs. one. Yeah, dear. Struggling on a training course. There we go. What a surprise. No, not that one. So yeah, are you gonna wait for me then, Christian? I'm guessing you're gonna let me go in first. I'll get down to, I'll be at Lassowitz. Well, I'll be at Lassel at 4,000. That's the only thing. So yeah, if you want to be at least 5,000, that'll give me a bit of separation. Oh. Right, it's last little things we need to do as well. So one thing's going to be runway track once we start turning. So the runway track is 229. That's what we need. A couple of notes. Right, I don't think there's anything there that I need to worry about. Pullback, that might be good to tune as well. 412 HUM. Just if we need it. That's off to the right, so there we go. Yeah, if we do have to go around at any point after the Sierra Papa Lima, it's more or less a cancelled approach, really, is rather than a go around. The danger is of that if we don't go to Toga, which isn't really necessary. The flight plan's going to dump just as we go over the runway, so I'll probably just cancel the approach, stay at whatever altitude we're at the time if we lost it, stay in the configuration, and then basically climb up to 3,000 feet after this point. So 5,000 feet initially is the first go around, and after this point the go around altitude then changes to 3,000 feet, and then we hold down at Drevnik. So I'll probably do a cancel approach, but the flight plan's probably going to dump as soon as we overfly the airfield, so we'll probably have to do a direct to DVN just to get this back in nav once we go over the airfield if we need to. So again, another bit of a threat there with that one. We should probably overfly Zadar on our way down, which I think is that one there. Is it D? Yeah, there we go. So Zadar's just off the nose over here, so I think that's it. So Zadar's our primary alternate because it's not too far away and weather's looking lovely, so if we couldn't get into Split for any reason, then we know Zadar's just up the road. And the MSA, because there's a bit of MSA going up to there. Worst case is... get there. So 8. So yeah, if we were at 10,000 feet, it's not too far to go. there's a bit of alternate flight planning logic for you. You can basically cruise the sort of most economical cruise flight level to your alternate is effectively double the distance, so about 90 miles there. So we know if we cruise at about flight level 180, that would be like a nice economic profile. We would climb a bit of a level segment, then go back down again. Now the chances are we probably wouldn't go all the way to 190 because one, we don't need to, and that's literally going up and then almost straight back down again. So we know if we're above 10 we're safe for the MSA, so if we went to like 10 or 12,000 feet or something, we know we'd get above the MSA and then be a decent enough cruise bit just to sort of prepare, brief ourselves, and then go down again to get to Shutdown. But that's fine, we're wide open for that. And in terms of fuel, just double check all this is all done, that's all coded. Radnavs, that's all coded, done. GPS primary high, that's all fine. That's all looking good. Descent page is looking fine. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put cost index on, I'm going to descend at that speed. That's better. I can go back in. Fuel, we got loads of, we got an hour's worth of extra fuel, so certainly enough to give it another go, and then see what the problem is, and then disappear onto Shutdown if we need to. And secondary, not that we're going to do it, but that's the ILS to 05 in there. Do the split 2 Bravo arrival. Hold it. Yep, cool. No worries. Sounds good, Christian. I'll try and make sure I am at 4,000 by Lassell. Then I don't want to be interfering with your altitude. I'm going to confiscate that icon. Yeah. Well, I'm quietly confident, guys. I mean, I'm glad we've lasted what, an hour and 50 minutes flight time. We've just over 2 hours of sort of block time, so a good sort of 2 hours and 10 minutes, and we've lasted without a crash the desktop. So I'm happy about that, I suppose. That's the only thing I can say. Right, let's start going down. And what was the first one? 160, I think it was. Yeah. Let's just put 10, that's fine, because it's going to be, oh, runway. Constraints are in. Right, there's 100 blue. Split traffic, Kestrel 6543, descending flight level 100 on the SAL 1 Yankee, arrival for the VOR Bravo approach to runway 23. Don't jinx it. This is what I'm saying, Dan. I'm always going to say things like this to jinx it, because I think if I do say things, it's not going to happen. You know, if I sort of sit there again, I'm not going to say it's, you know, I'm going to get crashed to desktop, because it will bloody say it. Most CDDs have got on either departure airport on approach. Well, and we've had a 50% success rate so far, haven't we? With well, we've got out of the departure airport. Okay, so let's just hope the arrival's fine. I might turn the cabin off just to reduce any load in the back. No, not that one. There we go. I'm not going to say I'm fairly quietly confident, because that would be putting the kiss of death on it, but you know, so far so good. And at least something's constructive. I've briefed it, so if anybody's a bit unsure of how to do this VOR Bravo, at least you can see this and see the brief. Should have done another fuel check, never mind. Bevel, what was it? 1041, 4.7. I was so busy chatting. It's not actually a very long flight, this. especially when there's a lot to do. Yeah, so we had loads, so I mean, there's probably another 700-800 on top of that with contingency, plus what we actually was about 4 tons. So yeah, we're about 700 kilograms more on CNR that we really need. No idea what I'm saying or do. Yeah, well, that's, you know, that's the beauty of this job, is you just, you know, just sound authoritative, sound like you know what you're doing. You know, it doesn't matter whether you do or not, just, you know, make it sound like you know what you're doing, and it's just convincing enough to make everybody believe. Yeah, you did, Scav. I do remember you doing that, and I remember looking at it going, oh yeah, we're not allowed to do that. It's not to say you can't use them as a guide. You know, there's nothing wrong with sort of using them as a, you know, a great bit of essay on your ND of like, oh well, that's, you know, that's where they are, so I know I need to be there. And if you're flying manually, to be honest, it doesn't really make any difference anyway, because you're not using managed approach. But you know what we're not allowed to do is we're not allowed to use managed approach if these waypoints are missing. And I'm sure there's a reference for it somewhere. I'm sure I'll have to look through, you know, our OMA or somewhere, and I'm fairly sure that's the case. But it's one of the interesting things with the RNAV visual approaches is that basically you can just fly the entire thing. It's a bit like RMP AR, I suppose. You can just fly it in managed, you know, managed approach with fine lap, your FMA. You know, you just have to be visual, but that's just a big caveat to it. And you know, I've written stuff about the RNAV visual approach. Let me just have a quick look. You probably won't be able to see it because it'd be on. Just hope it doesn't crash the sim. Using fine lap, it's not that one. RMPAR. Circling. Where's it gone? I know I've written it somewhere. There's not a lot of it. That's the only thing. Was that it? No, that's not it. So I need to tidy this document up because I can't find anything. FPA, no. Oh, where's it gone? Yeah, maybe it's a bit further down. Hang on. I know you can't see what I'm looking at, I'm just looking at the document that I've just done. I'm just trying to find what I wrote about RNAV visual approaches. Which I'm sure I did, I'm sure I wrote something about it. Circling approach. Visual approach. No. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to find something. I'm sure I did write something, but there wasn't actually a lot there anyway. Visual approach. No, oh, I don't know. Oh, there is. Yeah, RNAV visual approach. The aircraft navigates using an RNAV system, but the position is monitored by the visual reference on the ground. RNAV approaches must be stored. There you go. So RNAV visual approaches must be stored and retrievable from the navigational database. RNAV visual approaches may be flown following an instrument approach. In this case, the RNAV visual approach may be initially be prepared in the secondary flight plan, which we can't do that because the waypoints aren't there. So GPS, DME is required. One FMS, one GPS, one DME. Additional requirement if indicated on the approach charts. So FMGC guidance mode, if no required accuracy is published, the use of the FMGC guidance mode is at the pilot's discretion. If RNAV or RNP1 is required on the published approach, the pilot should use adequate FMGC guidance mode. Note, the use of lateral vertical managed modes reduces the crew workload and improves energy management. So yeah, I've written a little bit about it. Autopilot's not used. Yeah. Anyway, we can come back to that. There's no need to talk about that now. Hey, Bevy. Right, so we're doing 40 miles, 20,000 feet, so we're not doing too badly. I miss Sadar. Is it over there? I've got to look at it. It's over here somewhere. I can't remember. Right, should almost be able to see splits. So that'll be over here, down here somewhere. And we'll be coming in this way and then doing the circling approach and then sort of flying in this little, well, this high terrain is. There's a nice sort of ridge going all the way, so we're keeping obviously away from that. The other threat, I suppose, which we've not discussed, is we may get GPWS warnings, but we can either silence them if we needed to. We're going to be VMC anyway, so we can basically disregard it because we've got visual sights to the ground. Right, how long that needs to lose? About 12,000 feet. Times 3 is about 36, so yeah, we should be just about okay. We'll just help it get down, I think. Constraints are on. Yeah, let's just go open descent. Let's prepare the cabin, because need to do that a bit earlier. This is a busy approach. Right, we're above 110, so I think if we put 4,000 feet at Lazar, which is what we intend to go down to, open descent, set the QNH. Yep. So QNH is cross checks, 4,000 blue. We can do the approach checks as well now. So approach checks, Barrow Ref QNH 1019 is set. Seatbelts are on. Minimum is 2,100 feet. Barrow 2,100 feet. Auto brakes medium, and the EFBs are stowed and disconnected. So that is the approach checks complete. Let's look at activating the approach phase. Hey Wayne, just need to double check the brief now. I can't remember if we use fine lap on the initial bit. No. Just say the vertical path is not coded. Pressure should be flown in nav FPA from the platform to the circling minimum. Okay, so yeah, we won't use fine lap at all on this. So we'll just basically use against 4,000 feet, and then we descend down to 2,500 feet, and from there, which is the platform, down to 2,100 feet. So that's okay. Don't see anybody on TCAS. Still on Unicom. Yeah, 10,000 feet, get the lights on. Get all of them on, just same as we're doing this later on.
Traffic October 5 hours forward at Lazar 5,000.
Alright, you got the hold at Laszlo, Christian, thanks very much for that. It should be blue. Hope you've had a good day, Wayne. Oh, my dog's gone. Right, how are we doing? Alright, going to give it a bit of speed brake just to help it down. Split traffic, Kestrel 6543 is overhead Chemix, and then we're going to Sierra Papa 701, then Lasswell for the VOR approach runway 23. Manage speed. A320 selected. Flat 1, speeds checks, flat 1. Right, the airport is... yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it anyway. Can we see Christian? Nope, not yet. Right, speed out star. Outs. Manage speed. Can't see you at all, Christian, sorry. You're there somewhere. I still need to get our AIG stuff, I think. Got you on TCAS. Yeah, I've got you on TCAS. I'm just probably looking at the wrong bit of sky. Alright, there's S speed.
Number 225, we have the Thomas Cook inside and now descending 4,000 feet.
Roger. I'm still at 4,000, Christian. Don't rush now, mate. Alright, 160 selected. Ah, there you are. Yeah, I got you. Right, don't forget, Christian, I'm slowing down on this approach, so you know, it's you know, I'm going to be quite slow. Right, flap 2, speeds jets, flaps 2. Alright, so from Lazo we can go down to 2,500. Split traffic, Kestrel 6543 is approaching Lazo, starting the VOR Bravo approach, circles land on runway 23. So, where's the runway? Always a good idea to see where the runway is. I think it's over here somewhere. Just there, I think. It's Lazo. Yeah. If you can actually put it and change it, there we go. Right, so thrust 100%, 2,500 blue, let's get the gear down. Gears down. Manage speed. And technically we can now go down to circular minimum as well, which is 2,100 feet, which is blue. Connection lost. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Don't care about the connection as long as the sim still works. Hope the stream's still alive. Can you zoom in? Well, when you got good eyesight, Gav, yeah. Yeah, there's the runway. I probably don't need to go down quite as fast as that. Speed VS. Speed, vertical flight path, FPA. Radio Thomas is alive.
Lufthansa 225 doing one more round as they hold, reducing altitude to 2,500 feet, and then continue the VOR Bravo approach for runway 23.
Alright, it's all looking very good. Happy with that, happy with the tracking. So let's track. So I do want to keep an eye on distance from the threshold. That gives a good indication for the sort of height we need to be at. Right, so go around altitude, if we need to do it here, is 5,000. I'm not going to set that because we're visuals, so unless we were told to go around, which we're not because we're on our own. The go around altitude, once we start turning visual, is 3,000 feet. And so let's go flat 3. Speeds check flat 3.
100 above.
And very happy on visual the airport and the airport environment.
100 above.
So we're all clear off to the right. Everything's looking pretty good. Out. Yeah, we don't have to worry about iceberg start, that's the only thing, unfortunately. So next turn will be 049. So 049.
Minimum.
2,000 set for missed approach. All the pilots coming off. Flight director's coming off. Sort of thrust speed, and the inbound course is going to be 229. really want to be descending. So just keeping a good lookout. So there's our waypoint we want to turn at. That's 3.9 miles. Keep it coming down.
100 above.
Do the landing checks. Once we get below 2000s. And this
Minimum.
is the DME arc we want to sort of stay in, really. So landing check, this cabin is secure for landing. Oh, spoilers. There we go. Forget those. Go around altitude 3000 set and ECAM memo is landing no blues. So there's the turn. Start coming round. So again, I want to stay within 4.6 of the SBL, which we're doing. In terms of distance from the threshold, we're at about 3 miles. You want to be about 900 feet, so we're probably a little bit high, about 500 feet too high. Just keep it coming around, just watch the rate of descent. Probably about there. Keep it coming down. So again, just under 3 miles, so again 900 feet, so it's probably just about there on profile. Bappy's maybe a little bit high. Split traffic, Kestrel 6453, final 23.
$500.
So just under 400 is a stable criteria, which we are. We're stable. So a tiny little bit high, not too worried about that. A little bit turbulent on the wind. Watch the trees.
100. $50, $40, $30, $20. Retard. 5.
Spoilers, reverse green, and decel. And your brakes. Yo, a bit too much. Go on. This way. Split traffic. Kestrel 6453 is runway vacated. Just about. About coming off. Alright, so we go straight ahead. Need 3 minutes. So we'll try and get everything done as quickly as we can. That's done. That's done. That's done. Taxi light's coming off. And I think we can probably park on stand 6. Should be just enough space. No, not you. Not you. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we're clear on the right. This is why having a first officer helps a little bit to do all the button pushing. Yeah, I think the rolling cash definitely seems to have helped J-Hog. I'm pretty happy with that. Just taking it nice and slow because there's not a lot of space here. Just so we don't hit. I think that's Crumpet on the right. His nice yellow aircraft.
Split traffic, Lufthansa 225 now turning base for visual runway 23.
Right, see how good I am at stopping on the line. So what's that? 75s. That doesn't really say anything about 320s, does it? I don't think. Nope. Oh well, doesn't really matter then. Somewhere around here. I think that will do. Parking brake is on. Pressure's all good. 3 minutes. We're just about getting that. We've probably had it since we've been idle. So engine 1 is off. Engine 2 is off. Belts can come off. Should be disarmed in a second. That's done. That's already 2000. Do that. Stop that. Turn you off. You can go on for a minute. Come off. N1's blue 10. Beacons are off. Doors. Where are you? Why are you not disarmed? Yeah, they've been disarmed. Good, that's done. Deboard, yes. Let's see if we can watch Christian. Ground services. Full stairs, upstairs, that. Good. Right, should we see if we can get a drone view quickly? There's my drone view. Oh, probably not going to be there in time, am I? No. We're just trying to zoom in. There's a new paint job for Lufthansa, I think, isn't it, Christian? Looking good, though. Yeah, that's pretty close. And what lovely scenery. Showcase reset. Yeah.
The traffic Lufthansa 225 runway is vacated.
No. Yeah, reset. Ah, there we go. Well done. Yeah, cheers, Dan. Drone speed. Let's increase that a bit. So I have worked out how to use the drone. Okay. Haven't done the parking checks, never mind. Oh, this is great scenery. This is what I enjoy now, is that we can actually go somewhere that looks, you know, actually very similar to what it looks like in real life. Oh, need to decrease that drone speed, I think, a bit. Alright, how could you parking, Christian? See you later, J-Hog. Alright, what's the time? Ah, look at that. See, you can't teach that, Christian. You know, you're either born with it or you're not. Well done. Thanks very much, Christian, for joining me. Thanks very much, Crumpet. I think that's you on the left. That was a very, very interesting stream. It worked. That's the main thing. That's what I'm happy with. We got from A to B without a crash to desktop. Yeah, I definitely think that cache, probably rolling cache, didn't help when it was set on 0. So the fact that's gone back up to 50 seems to have done the trick. So I thought they were solar panels, then they look like greenhouses, aren't they? Lots of greenhouses. I wonder if they sort of grow things like tomatoes, maybe? I don't know. Grow something, obviously. Yeah, it's very nice scenery, this. I don't actually think I've been to Split in real life. As a passenger, I've obviously been there a few times as a pilot, but not as a passenger. It's the ATC tower. I always think like the ATC tower. I think that's usually a good indication of decent scenery when the ATC tower is modelled. Which it is. That looks very good. So they get a good view up here. You get a really good view of like people landing. But yeah, I think that's really nice. That's really good. Thanks very much, everybody. I think I'll probably leave it there. I don't think I'm going to go back. I think I've got a bit of lunch to make and a few house chores to do, so I probably can't carry on doing anything. But I'm just pleased to see it actually worked. So there we go. My PC is not completely duff. I think it was just certain things on the simulator that probably weren't quite set up correctly. But there we go. That's all done. And yeah, thanks very much. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for a good stream. And I shall see you next week now. So I'm back to work. Ooh, back to work this week. And then I think am I home Sunday? I can't even remember, but I think I've got a few days off next week where I can do things. And then I'm back to work for a few more days, and I've got some leave, so I probably won't be doing much on the leave. But yeah, certainly next week I should be able to get another stream in, and hopefully it will stay like this as well. So thank you very much, and I shall see you guys all later. When I can get back to my aircraft. External. There we go. Thanks guys. Cheerio.